Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Monday edition of Good Morning Vail on TV8. I'm your host, Liz. We have a great week to kick off and so many great guests and so many fun things to do, including the community calendar. Sit back, relax, get breakfast and coffee, and enjoy the show. Good Morning Vail on TV8 starts right now.
This weather report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back. We have so many great things going on in the neighborhood. Summer Series concerts continue over at Nottingham Park this Wednesday. You can appreciate Zoso. They're going to be a super energetic band, all complimentary for all of us. So you want to get on over to Nottingham Park for that free music. It's live. It's fantastic. And it's going to be this Wednesday, which is going to take place on the main stage. So you get all the great food trucks out there, the hand-walled bar. It's a plastic-free event. You can get water and everything else. Just make sure you don't use plastic. They're trying to keep their carbon footprint as well as ours, which is a really, really wonderful thing. So that's going to be super exciting. Another free show for the Summer Concert Series over at Nottingham Park. And then why not just skip on over to another free show over at Gerald Ford Amphitheater? It's the Hog Slop String Band. Free show this Thursday night. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure we all gather over at the Gerald Ford Amphitheater for that. And then something really fun is happening at the Amp. I want you to mark this down for the 22nd, which is a week from tomorrow. And it's through the Alpine Arts. You want to learn how to spray paint. We're talking graffiti style. Well, we can learn how to graffiti legally over at Gerald Ford Amphitheater as well next week. So go to grfavail.com to find out about all the events that are taking place there, hot summer nights, and so much more. Stick around, everybody. We have more great TV8 Vail coming up.
Good morning, Vail.
Here at Sun and Ski Sports, we are all about having the best summer adventures. Our full-service bike shop is here to help you get back on the saddle with services ranging from simple tire changes, full bike overhauls, and rentals. If trail running, hiking, or trips to the lake are your thing, our expert staff will fit you in the best performing footwear or clothing. And don't forget about a relaxing day on the water with our stand-up paddleboard rentals. Call Sun and Ski Sports in Avon or Dillon today, or learn more at sunandski.com/CO.
Hi, it's Julio from TV8 Vail. Do you ever wonder why our tagline is "There's more for you on 92"? Because we're always bringing you more. More Good Morning Vail from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. all year long. More local coverage with Vail Vibes and Covered Bridge on TV8. More opportunities to participate with new roundtable panels on mountain perspectives and our new Spanish programming block coming this fall. Find us on Comcast Xfinity Channel 92, on YouTube, or our website at tv8vail.com.
Thank you for watching Good Morning Vail. Have an amazing day. Get on out there, soak up that sunshine. We'll see you tomorrow right here for more Good Morning Vail. Bye, everyone. Hi, I'm Gretchen Pleshaw. You might recognize me from the Glitz and Glam with Gretchen. Maybe you hear my voice on the radio from time to time or see me out at a concert or two. I love concerts. If you see me out, the long mermaid hair, I'm almost 6 foot tall. It's hard to miss. Come and say hi, give me a high five, and make sure to watch me right here on TV8.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back, everybody. Monday is just the beginning of the week here. We have so many great interviews. Cece Zach, who's part of Good Day Vail, she had a great conversation with the great people over at Vail Valley Partnership. I know Chris Romer and a lot of other great people over there. She sat down with them, and they are such an amazing organization. We're going to learn all about them right now.
So, Mike and Chris, thank you so much for coming in today in your busy schedule. And one of the things that I love to share with our viewers is why Vail? Our viewers are really keen on, what inspires you about this county and this area. So, Chris, how long have you been here? What keeps you here? And, what inspires you about Vail Valley?
Yeah, thank you. It's such a great baseline foundational question for anyone who's here in Eagle County. And when you say Vail, I think Eagle County.
Yes,
and I think the entire Eagle River Valley from Dotsero all the way to Vail Pass, because we really are one economic region, one watershed. Our neighbors live in Gypsum or live in Vail, they live in Avon or they live in Edwards. Those are the people we go to school with and we see at the post office and we work with and everything else. And what brought me here is simple, like very many people. I came for the mountains. I came for the outdoor recreation. I came for the skiing. I always wanted to be in Colorado. I came to school at the University of Colorado, and when I finished up my 4 years there in Boulder, I ended up in Vail because I loved to ski here. I loved the access. I loved the community. And I've been very fortunate to be here ever since, being able to grow a career and raise a family and do all the things that I hope others have the same opportunity to do.
Love that. And Mike, sort of similar situation.
Yeah, some similarities. I originally came from Oklahoma, born and raised there, and had been coming to Colorado with my family for many, many years growing up. So already loved the state. And when I graduated from Oklahoma State University a long time ago in 1990, decided with a group of fellow ex-students to come to Colorado, started in Aspen. Was really going to be there for probably 6 months to a year and decided that, you know what, it's just so lovely and a great place to be that I made it a permanent habit. And I came to Eagle County in the Vail Valley about 25 years ago. I've worked for one company, a community bank, Alpine Bank, great company with wonderful people. And that was another reason that that career kept me in Colorado. So, not only the recreation, but really over the years, the community, the chance to serve the community, building a family here over time. Yeah, it's was a 6 or 12 month stint that turned into 32 years.
Well, what I love, and the two of you have a great example of how you've able to build not your life here, but also your career here. And Mike, you're the regional president for 3 different counties here in the mountains, which is just extraordinary because you just said you've been with Alpine for that duration of time. Mm-hmm. Chris, tell us a little bit about your professional career and how you've been able to build that here.
Yeah, the unique thing about running a Chamber of Commerce, such as the Vail Valley Partnership, is that very few people go to school and say, I want to be a Chamber of Commerce executive. I want to run a Chamber of Commerce. Most people don't know what that even is as they're going through their schooling and their education. For me, I came up through hospitality. I worked for Vail Resorts. For a short period, I worked in the hotel and hospitality industry for a number of years, but I was always involved in the community and I was always volunteering and I was looking for opportunities to engage outside the 4 walls of the business that I worked for, and was fortunate enough to be able to find Vail Valley Partnership's predecessor organization, yes, the Chamber and Tourism Bureau, and be able to connect with like-minded professionals and be able to serve on a few different committees. So when a job became available at the partnership, I raised my hand really quickly and said, that's a place I really want to be, to have a bigger impact and a more community impact and be even more engaged in the community. So I was really driven coming up through the hospitality industry and the importance of hospitality to our community, certainly our economic driver and about half of our jobs. But I always kind of in the back of my head wanted more community and wanted more community engagement and involvement and being able to help all the small businesses that exist here. In a community like Eagle County and the Vail Valley, where 90% of our businesses have fewer than 20 employees.
So what is the total number of businesses then?
It's about 2,600
Wow.
in the Eagle River Valley.
Okay.
About 2,600 businesses, and again, 90% of those fewer than 20 or fewer employees, and 80% of them 10 or fewer employees. So we are driven by small businesses. And when the opportunity at the Chamber came open, I really wanted to be able to serve those businesses and help those businesses in what is a challenging business environment.
Extraordinary business environment.
Extraordinary and challenging.
So help our viewers understand what Vail Valley Partnership is, because you've mentioned Chamber, you mentioned a predecessor. I know you rebranded, I think it was in 2007, to Vail Valley Partnership. Help us understand the totality of the organization that you represent.
Yeah, and I'll keep it relatively short because I think it's a long history. So we were incorporated in 1964.
Oh my gosh, that's before...
That's before the town of Vail.
Wow.
As an example. So we're incorporated in 1964 as the Vail Resort Association and grew and changed and morphed over time. The Vail Valley Tourism and Convention Bureau, Vail Valley Chamber and Tourism Bureau, lots of different acronyms. In 2007, we really, our Board of Governors really set forth an aspirational path for us to be the partnership to incorporate economic development, Chamber of Commerce, and tourism services.
Yeah.
And really put all of that umbrella under one organization with an aspirational position to have a bigger impact on our community and help our businesses across all those different sectors that drive our businesses and drive our community.
Wow, that's awesome. And I love the name too, because it really is a partnership. One of the things I've learned in the short time I've been here is that this community is extraordinary and everyone wants to help everyone, no matter what the objective is. And somehow these partnerships, and I don't mean to use your name, but the community partner, somehow they get aligned incentives. And from where I come from in the healthcare industry, the incentives are never aligned with the people in the ecosystem. So it's such a delight for me to come in and to also talk to you all and showcase the partnerships, which, Mike, that's where you come in. You, being a representative, a senior executive at Alpine Bank, have been a supporter of VVP for a wide variety of years and a wide variety of roles. Mm-hmm. So why? What and why?
Well, the then Vail Chamber was one of the first organizations that I became involved with when I came to the Vail Valley in 1996. I served as what they called then an ambassador. So I was with a group of like-minded young professionals. So I literally saw the chamber grow over the years as the communities grew and as the business communities grew. Fast forward to just a few years ago, under Chris's leadership, I've become one of the Vail Valley Partnership Board of Governors, and I'm very proud to serve there. But it is a wonderful organization in terms of not only having a group of businesses, a wide variety of businesses represented within the Vail Valley, but also engaged with the community, with the business community on any variety of projects, programs, and topics that pertain to all of our industries.
So, Chris, you mentioned how many businesses were part. What is the number of employees does that represent?
Yeah, so there's a total of about 35,000 in the workforce in Eagle County. About 30,000, just over 30,000 in the Eagle River Valley, from Dotsero to Vail. Our membership makes up over 80% of that workforce. So the businesses who are and organizations that are members of the Vail Valley Partnership equates to about 80% of our workforce. So we really have a wide swath of industries and geographies and different business sectors represented under the partnership umbrella.
And how much of that does Vail Resorts represent?
Yeah, Vail Resorts is our largest employer.
Okay.
They have more employees than anybody else. For obvious reasons, they're our economic driver, and they require a lot of workforce to run those resorts and those mountains and those hotels and other businesses that they're involved in. So as a total, they probably make up just over 10% or 12% of our local workforce.
Okay, but that's it. To me, that's smaller than what I would have anticipated.
Yeah, and it might be a little bit higher because those numbers aren't public, so I don't know exactly, but I have a good idea.
Okay. So with that, gentlemen, I would just love to understand what is the mission. If you could briefly, before we go on a station break, what's the mission of EVP?
Yeah, I think we should quiz our board member, Mike Brown, on what our mission is to see if he has it memorized. I tease a little bit. Our mission is actually really straightforward. We have a 2-word mission statement, and our mission is to lead collaboration. That is what we do. That is our true north. How do we lead collaboration through our programs and our advocacy and the things that we do?
Good morning, Vail.
Hola, ¿qué tal, familia de TVA? Les saluda Julio García y les doy la bienvenida a una edición más de Lo Mejor de la Semana, donde, como ya saben, les estaré compartiendo los mejores eventos y actividades para disfrutar aquí en nuestro Valle de Vail y nuestros alrededores. Comenzamos este lunes 14 de agosto con el Breckenridge International Festival of Arts, que se estará llevando a cabo de 8 de la mañana a 6 de la tarde del 11 al 20 de agosto, con muchísimas actividades desde yoga, caminatas, exposiciones de arte, presentaciones de baile y música. Algunos eventos son gratuitos y otros requieren de boletos, así que consulta la página web para ver la lista completa de los eventos. Y este martes 15 de agosto, la Biblioteca Pública de Gypsum está ofreciendo un torneo de Super Smash Bros. A partir de las 4:15 de la tarde, un evento completamente gratis para mayores de 11 años. El ganador se llevará una tarjeta de regalo. Y este miércoles 16, nuestros amigos de BOM nos enseñan a hacer figuras de animales con globos, un evento gratuito en el centro de Walking Mountains en Avon de 5:30 a 7 de la tarde. Para registrarse, visiten la página web en pantalla. Y este jueves 17 les comparto un concierto en Denver, ya que llega Karim León al Ball Arena, lo que antes era conocido como el Pepsi Center. Las puertas abren a las 7 de la tarde y los boletos comienzan desde los $55 más cargos. Aún quedan boletos, así que visita la página web para adquirir los tuyos. Y este viernes 18 se presentan en el Ice Arena de Vail Grupo Laberinto, Atrevidos de Chihuahua y Escolta de Rancho. Las puertas abren a las 9 de la noche. Los boletos de preventa los puedes conseguir en los lugares de costumbre o en la página web que aparece en pantalla a partir de los $60. Recuerda que usualmente los boletos suben de precio el día del evento, así que consigue los tuyos con anticipación. Y este sábado 19 se estará llevando a cabo el Vail Valley Brew Out de 4 a 8 de la tarde, un festival de cerveza donde podrás disfrutar de música en vivo, comida, actividades para niños y muestras ilimitadas de cerveza, seltzers y sidras. Los boletos comienzan desde los $20 para aquellas personas que no estarán tomando y desde los $49 para aquellas personas que desean participar en las muestras de alcohol. Los boletos suben de precio el día del evento, así que consigue los tuyos con anticipación en la página web. Y este domingo 20 de agosto podrá disfrutar de una experiencia educativa sobre el mundo prehistórico en Beaver Creek de 4 a 5:30 de la tarde. Es un evento en inglés, pero sé que muchos tienen hijos bilingües y podrán aprender muchísimas cosas de los dinosaurios, fósiles y nuestro mundo prehistórico aquí en Colorado. Y bueno, familia, con eso concluimos una edición más de Lo Mejor de la Semana. Aún nos quedan algunas semanas de verano, así que hay que aprovechar y disfrutar de todas las actividades que tenemos aquí en nuestro valle. Yo soy Julio García y los veré aquí en la próxima.
Knapp Harvest, your local marketplace for fresh, locally produced products. Our indoor farmers market is open 7 days a week, featuring locally grown organic produce, prepared meals, honey from our Knapp Nectar Hive, furniture, cutting boards, and much more. We source and sell locally grown and produced products from the Vail and Roaring Fork Valleys. Visit us at our new location in Eagle Ranch, 717 Sylvan Lake Road, next door to Color Coffee Roasters.
Good morning, Vail.
We are back with more Good Morning Vail on TV8. Happy Monday morning, everybody. We are smack dab in the middle of that interview with Cece and Vail Valley Partnership. Let's get into it and find out more about this wonderful organization.
Chris, when we just left, we talked about the mission of Vail Valley Partnership. Now, help me understand a little bit more about the goals of the organization.
Yeah, our goals, I would point first to our vision, which is community vitality, because the goals build up to that vision of community vitality. And the idea that we have three kind of buckets, if you will, and they're integrated and they're connected, but we have three roles that we play in the community. One is tourism services and group sales and destination marketing efforts to support our largest industry sector, to support the businesses that rely on our tourism sector, and working closely with all the different stakeholders there. Number two is the Chamber of Commerce. And the Chamber of Commerce is the genesis of who we are as an organization, and it's the business services. It's existing to serve the businesses and provide them the tools and the programs and the resources to succeed in this place. And the third is economic development. And that idea of economic vitality and supporting small businesses and new businesses and growth of existing businesses, and providing a voice for all of our businesses from an advocacy standpoint and a legislative standpoint. And so those three efforts, tourism and chamber, business services, and economic development, data and research and resources, connect to the umbrella that is Vail Valley Partnership. So those are kind of the three big buckets, all leading to that idea of community vitality, and how do we, through our efforts and through our team and through our board of governors and our volunteers, help make this community more attainable and accessible and more livable, and give businesses the opportunity to thrive and employ people and grow and do all the things that we want successful communities to do.
So you'd mentioned the three buckets. So that's how you're organized. Tell us a little bit about how you're funded, because clearly you need the resources to be able to pull this off.
Yeah, we do. And so we have three buckets of funding as well. That's not exactly aligned with the three programs of work, but one is membership dues. And about a third of our revenue comes from membership, businesses and organizations opting in to be a partner and to participate in our programs, which leads to the second revenue bucket, which is our programming. We run a variety of leadership programs and workforce programs and different initiatives for people to engage with the organization and have opportunities for their staff to engage and be involved and receive workforce training and things along those lines. So that's our second bucket of funding, is our programming. And the third bucket is contracts for services rendered. So we contract with organizations for administrative services to run programs such as the EGE Air Alliance, to run and coordinate group sales in partnership with Beaver Creek Resort Company and the Vail Local Marketing District. So these contracts for services where we provide a specific service to an entity and they contract with us every year to fulfill those duties. That's our third bucket of funding. So most of the funding comes from those three buckets. Then we have a few miscellaneous programs and things that we do. But that's the buckets of funding, and it's actually breaks out pretty close to about a third each.
Okay. So Mike, now you represent one of the members, personally and from the bank's perspective as well. How do you use all of the amazing tools that the organization has to offer the community?
I'll try to be brief. I mean, the direct benefit, I think, comes from something Chris just mentioned, programs that deal with the attraction, retention, and development of our employees, career-wise, which is
something that we need now in this valley. We need it throughout the United States.
Always needed, but probably more than ever.
Now,
yeah, and career-wise, which is the apprenticeship program administered through the Vail Valley Partnership, but it is a partnership also including Colorado Mountain College, as well as the local school district and companies, where we take in apprentices who are interested in various professions like banking or lodging or construction. Also, Vail Valley Works, again, administered through the partnership, which provides leadership programs for employees. I have a few employees within Alpine Bank who are part of that program and who are benefiting from it. There are also community forums on the state of the economy, on specific areas like construction and housing that a lot of business owners have benefited from, to go to learn and to discuss with other businesses and business leaders about what's going on in our valley, both presently and in the future. And then, of course, there are a number of areas where the partnership has been a key advocate and collaborator with the community. The newly formed Regional Transit Authority, which is long-term going to benefit
Which my understanding
our employees
is,
and so forth.
Well, VVP was instrumental in helping, educate and then ultimately getting the momentum to pass the bill. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, that's fine. And then finally, I think about the EGE Air Alliance, which Chris just mentioned. That's a group of businesses and business representatives working together to attract more flights and more business to and from the Eagle County Regional Airport. And that is a benefit to all of our businesses, including mine, my customers, and so forth.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And, as a businesswoman by trade, I find everything that you're offering, Chris, just absolutely extraordinary. I mean, it just is top notch. How can individuals get involved with VVP and what you have to offer?
Yeah, simply reach out to us. We can be found on any of the social channels. We can be found at our website at vailvalleypartnership.com. You can come by the office at the Riverwalk. You can call us. Whatever works best for you, reach out to us. We have...
can I interrupt for a second?
Please.
Do I have to be an employee of one of your members, or can I become a member on my own?
Yeah, individuals can join.
Okay.
So we have a community membership to allow individuals to join, and certainly businesses are able to join, and all of their employees then are eligible to participate and engage in our programming. So we have an open door policy, right? Everyone's welcome in our proverbial big tent. Because we really want to represent sole entrepreneurs, and we want to represent small businesses and big businesses and emerging businesses and new businesses. The opportunity exists. We have a program advisory council. We have an economic leadership council. These are things that anyone can engage in and participate in. We have leads groups. We have after-hour events. We have a lot of opportunities for people to grow their networks, expand their networks, not just the training programs Mike mentioned, but their professional network and their social network as well.
There's a lot of, I don't know if I could call them retired, because I don't think most of our community members ever want to retire. But if you had a tip to provide to the community that have had significant business or economic experience, how would you like to see them be involved as volunteers?
Yeah, interestingly, at the partnership, unlike a lot of nonprofits, we're not looking for a lot of people to donate their time or their money with the organization. What we would love for them to do is engage where it's meaningful to them. So stay involved with our Economic Development Committee, or stay involved with some of the task forces that we have on specific topics, and find ways to give back and engage in ways that are meaningful to you, and mentorship opportunities and business support services, or even something that is not our program, but I think is very beneficial to our business community, the Small Business Development Center, to be able to help coach and mentor emerging businesses and startup businesses. So if you reach out to us, we're happy to point you in the direction that most aligns with your interest and your background and your skill sets.
Yeah. So Mike, you had talked a little bit about how you utilize some of the fabulous tools at VVP. When we were talking earlier too, there was you were talking about some of the really impactful programs that the community. Now, you did mention the EGA Air Alliance. You did mention the Regional Transit. Is there anything else that comes to mind that the community should know that VVP had, probably an unspoken component to creating an impact in the community?
Well, I think being a part of the Vail Valley Partnership as a business, whatever your size of business, however many employees you have, whatever your industry is within the Vail Valley, I think that there are any number of programs that you will find as a business owner, whether it's to get knowledge about the business community, whether it's to learn what's going on economically within the Vail Valley, whether it's to avail yourselves, depending upon the size of your business, of programs that the Vail Valley Partnership is working on now or helping to facilitate, such as insurance programs and so forth. or, as I said, and I've benefited from this through Alpine Bank, development of employees, especially your young leaders. I think there's just a variety of things that the partnership has developed over time that will benefit the knowledge and the success of businesses throughout the Valley.
And you mentioned insurance. For me to clarify for myself and the viewers, you're talking about health insurance, correct?
Correct.
And I would love just one sentence about that initiative.
Yeah, I'll turn it over to
Yeah,
my partner.
I'll take that one.
He's been the man on the front lines with that.
Yeah, so we created the Mountain Healthcare Coalition.
Oh, wow.
Which is an entity, a healthcare purchasing collaborative, a purchasing alliance, and we created that and are going through the regulatory process with the state of Colorado in hopes of bringing a new, more affordable health insurance program to our community members and to our small businesses, as well as to our self-insured groups. So really trying to tackle it from all sides within the state regulatory process and system, working closely with our partners at Vail Health and working closely with insurance payer partners. And so we hope to bring that to the market here before too long.
Oh my God, that is so exhilarating. And we probably have to do another show on that, because that in itself is just something that the community needs to hear, that there are alternatives out there than Obamacare.
And this is a good example of why the VVP is an issue-oriented organization as well within the business community. Insurance is an area that, especially in the Rocky Mountains, is a very difficult issue for,
I can vouch for that.
yes, for Vail Valley employers and employees. Another issue is housing, very quickly. This is an area where Chris, his staff, the Board of Governors, as well as members, have very vocally supported efforts to include more housing within the area, because that's a huge issue for businesses and especially our employees.
I tell you, we've got another episode coming up between health insurance, housing. But gentlemen, thank you so much for your time, your wisdom, and your leadership within this community, because without the two of you, this wouldn't be happening. So,
Good morning, Vail.
Did you know that all Eagle County residents and visitors can get a free Eagle Valley Library District card? All you need is a photo ID. You get our online databases and resources, free music, free streaming, all from wherever you have internet access. Free audiobooks and e-audiobooks straight to your phone. Go into your Eagle Valley Library District branch today and get your library card.
Familia, estamos muy emocionados de por fin presentarles nuestro nuevo programa completamente en español, Conexión Latina, que se estrena este lunes 21 de agosto a partir de las 7 de la tarde. Por el momento, el programa se transmitirá los lunes, miércoles y viernes de 7 a 7 y media de la tarde, con una repetición de 7 y media a 8, así que no hay excusas para perdértelo. Te recuerdo que puedes sintonizar nuestra programación a través del canal 92 de Comcast, nuestra página web tva.com y nuestra página de Facebook TVA Conexión Latina. Acompáñanos en esta nueva aventura llena de información y entretenimiento local. No te lo pierdas.
Well, Archer and I are going to get headed on further down the trail, but I hope you'll catch up with us a little bit later. Hi, I'm Ben Roof, and I'm one of the new hosts here at TV8. I'm so excited to share all of my explorations throughout the Vail Valley with my dog Archer, where we'll be taking you to hiking trails, biking trails, maybe we'll go rafting, fishing, or whatever else we can come up with. I'm so excited to share all of that with you in my new segment, Outdoor Adventures. Don't forget to catch up with us every day right here at TV8 Vail or at tv8vail.com, because there's always more for you on 92.
When you're in Vail, you're in vacation mode, and you need a flexible home tour experience that fits into your schedule. We transformed how you view and buy homes in the Vail Valley. With immersive, cutting-edge technology, you can explore properties 10 times faster. In our lounge, we guide you through this digital world on a 16-foot screen where you can imagine your next home in comparison to your favorite recreational spots. Say goodbye to multi-day home tours and hello to a quick stop between your other plans. That's the power of the immersion theater.
Join us on the Leadville Railroad. This fun-filled train ride takes you and your family on an unforgettable trip through the heart of the Rockies for a half-day trip of adventure, relaxation, and sightseeing. Enjoy the spectacular Colorado scenery. Even meet the engineer. Book your adventure on the Leadville Railroad today at leadvillerailroad.com.
Good morning, Vail.
This weather report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Today, we're cooking on the theme of how to cook without really cooking.
That's my favorite kind of cooking.
Yes.
I'll admit. Yes.
Because as Steve would understand, or many people that have houses here in the Park City area, and their college kids come home, they show up with friends. And what do you do with them? They bring the refreshments, but they still want to be fed. So this episode is about how to feed people 10 or more for under $30 and make sure that they're satisfied.
I love it.
Steve, everyone always knows, what do you have to do?
You got to have the 5 Ps.
The 5 Ps. So we're making our spaghetti, not from scratch, because I've had friends send me 3 pages of how to make spaghetti sauce. Wonderful, but this is not what we're going to do.
We're not. We're scratching that.
We
That's out the
are
window.
going with the 5 Ps.
5 Ps. Okay. I'm
Prego.
Prego.
Puree.
Puree.
Paste.
Paste. That's 3. 2 more. We're in
Parmesan.
suspense. Parmesan.
And last but not least, pasta.
I love it. The 5 Ps. All right.
So Steve's new at cooking. So
Are
I
you?
have taken it upon myself to run the can opener, and he will be doing the actual blending. Now, what's great about this, when you first show up in Park City and you haven't been here quite a month, you probably only have 2 pots and 1 pan. So we have to do everything with 2 pots and 1 pan. So you want to get going, Steve?
You ready? Okay,
We're
I'm
off
going to move
to
out
the
of your
races.
way. You
So
scoot
the
in
first
there.
ingredient in our spaghetti sauce is Prego. There you go, Master Chef.
So is it Prego because it's a pea, or do you have an affinity and natural liking to Prego?
You could use anything that's out there, and it's pretty cool. There's our first pea.
Perfect.
Now, I'm going to shake it up here a little bit because instead of puree, I'd rather have crushed tomatoes in basil. This is a lot better than puree. So I'm going to open this can up here.
We are back in the kitchen cooking spaghetti with Steve. And who would have thought all those years ago when you met Steve's dad that one day you'd be cooking with his son in Park City, Utah on TV?
That's right, and having can opener stress.
Yes. All right, it worked out, but maybe always make sure you have 2 can openers.
Exactly. So we started off on our 5 Ps by putting in a jar of Prego. Now we're going to the second P, which would have been puree, but we're going to use crushed tomatoes. And Steve, have at it.
Second P.
So those crushed tomatoes add that texture, kind of those spices.
Yeah.
Make it a little chunkier.
And now we're going to put the paste in.
For our third P is the paste.
All right. See, Steve, I think you're going to become a chef. No more.
You got to start
PB&J.
somewhere, right?
You do. You do.
Now the paste is great because it will thicken up your sauce and it allows you to do a variety of other things like what you add to your sauce, be it vegetables or meat or even a little bit of red wine later on. So we've got the base of our sauce done. Now we're going to go to adding to it to make it a little oomph to get it going. So we've chopped some onions, and Steve, you're going to throw the onions into the pan. Let them start to dump the whole thing in there.
Just don't be shy.
Yeah. Let them start sauteing. And you start off with your onions because they require the most cooking. And we'll let them cook here, and they're starting off. To this mixture, we're going to be adding mushrooms, which gives it a nice earthy flavor, and folks seem to always like that. And then, after we get our onions sauteed up, which we already have some example here, so we'll just put them into the sauce.
The magic of TV. We have some pre-sauteed onions going in right now. Smells delicious. It's looking
does smell
good.
Now with your onions cooking there, we only have one pan. We want to saute the onions there, and then we have our chopped mushrooms. And the mushrooms can go in once the onions are like a golden brown, and they're starting to sizzle now.
Oh yeah.
When they're golden brown, mushrooms have a lot of water in them. So when you add them in there for the flavor, leave them uncovered so that the moisture in the mushrooms can evaporate, just leaving the flavor behind. So Steve, why don't you do that now?
Mixing together quite nicely.
Yeah, it's smelling real good in here.
What was the last meal you had, Steve? What did you have last night for dinner?
I had some ribs last night.
I thought you only made PB&J. Come on. You're holding out on us.
I didn't cook them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
They were good though.
So that's our turn away. And we already have some pre-cooked mushrooms here. You'll add those into the sauce there, Steve.
Here we go.
I think we need a visual of this sauce. Let's maybe tip it up and see how good that looks. All those different textures and flavors. Will be delicious spaghetti. A little bit of oomph. All right, you want to keep mixing that?
Let's do it.
Now for informational purposes, all the steps that we have taken so far, including the Parmesan cheese, cost $17.86.
That's a deal.
It's
and
a
you
real
said
good
10
deal.
People. This is,
you can feed 10 people with this, yes.
This is great when my son brings all his teenage friends over. I know what I'm making next time.
Yeah, and so the onions are getting a little more cooked here, and I like a lot more vegetables in my sauce, and so they're getting almost done. And Steve, you can put those in there too.
All right.
Just add it all in there.
Yeah.
So do you cook a lot, Steve, when you're at home?
Not really, because it's just Patty and myself.
Okay.
And cooking for two people is difficult because you get a lot of waste.
That's true.
A lot of leftovers.
A lot of leftovers. So if you stir that up, Steve, now we're to the part where what kind of meat products do you want in? You could put in sausage, or we can put in hamburger.
All right.
And that's what we're going to do right now is put in our hamburger using the same pan that we did before. It's nice and hot. And Steve, why don't you open that and throw that in and start sizzling that way. And we'll start to get the water boiling here
and while that
for the
all
pasta.
happens
I'll
and
turn that on.
Looks good. We are going to head to break while we cook this hamburger and boil this water, but you don't want to miss the final product. It's going to be really, really good. So spaghetti with Steve and Steve. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Vail.
Nap Harvest, your local marketplace for fresh, locally produced products. Our indoor farmers market is open 7 days a week, featuring locally grown organic produce, prepared meals, honey from our Nap Nectar hive, furniture, cutting boards, and much more. We source and sell locally grown and produced products from the Vail and Roaring Fork Valleys. Visit us at our new location in Eagle Ranch, 717 Sylvan Lake Road, next door to Color Coffee Roasters.
Do you have an interesting hobby or skill you'd like to share for Vail Valley? We want to hear from you. We're looking for people to share their musical, artistic, culinary, woodworking, athletic, or technical talents on Good Morning Vail. If you'd like to share your talents with the community, email Danielle at tvavail.com. Join the community conversation. There's more for you on 92.
Hi there. In today's episode of Good Day Vail, we are so thankful to be filming offsite at the Home Outfitters because this episode is a spotlight on refreshing your living space. So please join Donna Lang, Aaron Shield, and myself at the Home Outfitters later on Good Day Vail.
It does set us apart from other showrooms here in the Valley. We obviously are a retail showroom. We value our customers. It's been 33 years in the making. We also have our own full-service design department. Right now there are 4 of us in the department. We're looking to expand. The other thing that people don't know about us is we also act as a design center for the designers here in the Valley. Also, if you're a realtor and your client brings in their own designer, we work with them as well. Instead of going down to the design center in Denver, we have over 200 vendors that we work with. So we will let the designer do their job with their clients, and then we take over from an administrative standpoint.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back, everybody. We're always looking to make a little bit of a change in our lives. Well, we have a very special guest that we did an interview with. It's called Adventures in Coaching. Let's find out how we can make some really special changes ourselves.
Welcome back to the show. Now, a segment that we do here, it's called Adventures in Coaching. And Kim Smith is here to join us and talk about all of these wonderful next steps that we could come across in our life. And today we're talking about the importance of change and what that can look like throughout not only your personal life, but through your career as well. Good morning, Kim.
Morning, Maddie. Thanks again for having me. It's great to be here.
We love having you here only because I feel like you give such great information for not only personal growth, but for professional growth as well. And so you've taken us through some very important steps already, from finding your purpose to making sure what you're doing for yourself and for your career has a meaning to you.
Yeah, exactly. We've gone through what it looks like to have a purpose and to define that, as well as trying to start aligning it with what you're doing in your life. And today's topic on change is going to be more focused on our careers.
And sometimes change can be scary. So let's talk about what those initial steps of change look like.
Yeah, sure. First of all, we have to identify if we want to make a change. And sometimes things like being really unhappy in your job, or maybe things just aren't feeling right, or maybe you've been in your job for a long time and you're saying like, maybe there's something else out there for me. Those can signify reasons for change, as well as, if you've been working on your purpose, that can really give you maybe a new direction to say like, hey, I really need to better align with my purpose now.
And why do so many people have a hard time making that change when they know it's going to better their lives and better their career path?
Yeah, it's a very normal thing to really kind of get stuck when we're wanting to make change, because let's face it, we all kind of get stuck in a rut and we get comfortable with what we're doing, and it's hard to maybe put ourselves out there and take a little bit more of a risk to better align with what we want to do or to achieve some new goal.
And there's a lot of things that you have to put into consideration, and especially if you're going to make such a large change, because humans, we're creatures of habit. We like to stick in that pattern that we start, and so when you stay with a job for a long time, you start that pattern, whether it's waking up early or it's staying up late, and then to completely switch that can be really scary for some people. So can you give us an example of this?
So I like to think of, and I'm talking a little bit more about bigger change right now, but the metaphor of maybe climbing a mountain, and I know a lot of people here in the Vail Valley can relate to this. You know, you're at the base of a 14er and you're looking at the top and it's like, it's this huge peak and you're like, how can I make it up there? Am I strong enough? You know, maybe I don't have the fortitude that I need or the training that I need to get up there. And, you know, it's really about, rather than focusing just at that top part of the mountain, you know, breaking it into those baby steps. I mean, what do you do when you start to prepare for climbing a mountain? You make sure you have the right equipment, right? You have a map and a compass or a GPS, whatever it is you're using, and, you know, food to fuel your journey. And without that, you can't even really begin to start thinking about it. So it's the same when you're trying to make change on a big goal, or, you know, change your career or something that, you know, you may have that goal. It's very important to have that end goal, but you also really need to break down the steps to get there so that you can start making those. And one of the things that might really hold you back is maybe fear of change and fear of success or even failure. There's a lot of fears that can come out as a result of that. So all things to think about.
Definitely all things to think about, and especially with the other segments that we've done with you where we've talked about really finding your purpose, because one of my favorite things to chat with you about is how you knew you loved helping people, and then you brought that to your career, and now you have a career that's not only self-fulfilling because you're pouring into your own cup as you're getting to help other people, but then you do get to do what you love and you're very successful at it.
Yeah, thanks for recognizing that. And, you know, it wasn't an easy change for me at all. You know, I had a long career in sales and marketing, and I was very comfortable in that. And I had, you know, done, you know, a lot of great things in my career. So it was really hard to say, hey, maybe there's something else out there for me. But I just couldn't ignore that, you know, those small voices that kept saying there's something else, there's something else. And so when I finally did take that leap of faith, so to speak, you know, I didn't just do it and start right away with what I'm doing today. I worked with a coach. I went through the steps. I identified 3 or 4 things that I thought I might really want to do and started eliminating those based on my values and other things that were important to me, where I finally landed on, you know, being a full-time coach. And I just love it. It makes a lot of sense to me now. And, you know, should I have done it earlier? Perhaps. But all of those experiences I had leading up to this point got me to where I am today, and they all inform and help me with what I'm doing, not only with my career, but when I'm helping others.
Now, as people are gearing up to make this change and they're starting to talk about the possibilities, what are the questions that they should be asking themselves when they do want to make a change?
Sure, and it's, you know, there is a lot that goes into it, and a lot of times you're not clear exactly on what it is you want to do or how to do it. So I always go back to, does the change you're thinking about really align with your purpose? And if you haven't done that purpose work, you know, go back and take a look at some of that. But does it align? And then second, you know, what are the risks? Every change has some risks there. And, you know, what does that involve for you? Even making a simple pros and cons list can help you get really clear on, you know, should I do it or should I not? And then I always like to say, you know, what are the benefits of making this change? You know, what are you going to gain from it? And because generally you're making change because you want to, right? You see the benefits, but getting clear on what those are is important. But also, you know, what are the costs of maybe not making the change? Like if you're hesitant, like, you know, if I'm going to make the change or if I'm not going to make the change, you know, what is it going to cost me emotionally, basically, maybe monetarily? But also, and then I finally say, you know, run the numbers, you know, take a look at the finances. What is it going to cost you to make a change? And maybe it's you know, a promotion where you're making more money. So that's kind of a no-brainer. But sometimes when we're thinking about making really different, you know, changes where we want to go a different direction, it might mean looking at the numbers and looking at a different type of salary for a while. And, you know, what is that going to look like for you?
Which I think these are all great things to sit down with yourself and really work through. The pros and cons list is one of my favorite things to do, and especially just for any life event that could make that significant change. Now, as people are starting to think about making this change, what are some of the steps that they should be taking to start the process?
Yeah, so once you figure out that this is something that you really want to do, I say, take a look at that end goal and start building the steps to getting there. So you're saying, all right, the first step is this and the second step is that, and then build out the plans underneath each step, because it's a long, long way from getting, that idea from here into, to the chair over there, right? There's a gap there. Right. And a lot of people think like, oh, I can just do that, but there are steps. And making sense of those steps and being clear on them, and even taking some of those baby steps just to see what you can start, like if you can start some momentum and generating some movement there.
Now, you're a fantastic coach and you do this for a living. So why is it so important when people are making these changes that they come and seek advice from a coach like you?
Yeah, I mean, certainly anybody can, do this on their own, but what I have found, and with people I work with, is that they get stuck, right? And they're having a hard time moving forward, and maybe it's, for a number of reasons, but a lot of it is like maybe we don't know exactly how to get there and they need some help and support to develop that plan. But also the other piece of it is we often get stuck because of our limiting beliefs and not believing that we can actually do what we're setting out to do. And so that's where a coach can really help you to identify not only the plan and build that out and hold you accountable to those steps, but find out what those limiting beliefs are.
And as we're talking about this plan and building out these steps, what does the process of coming and working with you in this kind of moment in your life look like?
We really start out with asking about do you know what your purpose is, and what is the plan that you're thinking of, and then I go through an evaluation to take a look at the pros and cons and what it might be that you're thinking about, and having you look at the finances. I can't tell you how many times I work with people and I said, and I say, well, what do you think you can earn doing this, or what do you think it's going to look like if you decide to do that? And they're just really more going on their gut feeling, which is great, and I love that. But let's take a look and say, what is it going to cost? What does this change mean for you financially?
Now, Kim, if people are interested in working with you to have you help them make these changes, what's the best way for them to get in contact?
So either go to my website, adventuresincoaching.com, or email me directly at kim@adventuresincoaching.com.
Kim, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, giving us all this great information, and you never know how much this little piece could help someone make that life change that they need.
Yeah, thank you.
Make sure that you check out Adventures in Coaching if you are looking to make one of these big changes and you're struggling to get from here to the chair, because that little push can definitely help you. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show, so stay tuned.
Good morning, Vail.
Join us on the Leadville Railroad. This fun-filled train ride takes you and your family on an unforgettable trip through the heart of the Rockies for a half-day trip of adventure, relaxation, and sightseeing. Enjoy the spectacular Colorado scenery. Even meet the engineer. Book your adventure on the Leadville Railroad today at leadvillerailroad.com.
When you're in Vail, you're in vacation mode, and you need a flexible home tour experience that fits into your schedule. We've transformed how you view and buy homes in the Vail Valley. With immersive, cutting-edge technology, you can explore properties 10 times faster. In our lounge, we guide you through this digital world on a 16-foot screen where you can imagine your next home in comparison to your favorite recreational spots. Say goodbye to multi-day home tours and hello to a quick stop between your other plans. That's the power of the immersion theater.
TV8, there's more for you on 92. Serving the local community 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Welcome back to the show. It's your second hour of Good Morning Vail on TV8. I'm your host, Liz. We have a special guest, Alan Miller, that we're going to see a great interview with. And we're going to head on over to the library to do something that I am super fascinated with, 3D printing. I cannot wait to find out about that. Sit back and relax, everybody. The second hour of Good Morning Vail on TV8 starts right now.
Get up, get ready to start your day. The mountains are calling you out to play. Come on, we'll make you feel right at home. Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring, or fall. Your home in the Rockies has it all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee's brewing, you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail.
This weather report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Good morning, Vail.
Nap Harvest, your local marketplace for fresh, locally produced products. Our indoor farmers market is open 7 days a week, featuring locally grown organic produce, prepared meals, honey from our Nap Nectar hive, furniture, cutting boards, and much more. We source and sell locally grown and produced products from the Vail and Roaring Fork Valleys. Visit us at our new location in Eagle Ranch, 717 Sylvan Lake Road, next door to Color Coffee Roasters.
Do you love the outdoor lifestyle? Make sure you tune in every day at 7 p.m. to catch Scoreboard Nation. It's an outdoor lifestyle show dedicated to your 3 favorite mountain towns, Vail, Beaver Creek, Park City, and Reno, Tahoe. Join us for an incredible venture. Find us on TV8 Vail, Park City Television, or at thescoreboardnation.com. We can't wait to see you there.
Hi there! Are you ready to explore famous neighborhoods from New York City to Kentucky? Watch The Neighborhood with host Nicole Newman. Featuring famous people, unique history, and delicious places to eat and drink. Our viewers get an inside personal look at each neighborhood. With each episode we learn, grow, laugh, and live like a local, not just a visitor. Welcome to The Neighborhood. Check your local program schedule and tune in.
When people think of world-class destinations, they're drawn to a place that provides opportunities for fine dining, shopping, superior lodging, exciting events, and unparalleled outdoor activities. Park City, Utah, and Vail, Colorado are renowned destinations for travelers and extraordinary homes for residents. Feature your exceptional products and services in these 2 luxury communities. Advertise with Park City Television and TV8 Vail. Contact us today.
Did you know that all Eagle County residents and visitors can get a free Eagle Valley Library District card? All you need is a photo ID. You get our online databases and resources, free music, free streaming, all from wherever you have internet access. Free audiobooks and e-audiobooks straight to your phone. Go into your Eagle Valley Library District branch today and get your library card.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back, everybody. We love to feature empowered women. Ellen Miller is somebody super special. Not only is she a climber, but she has got so many great things to let us know, and she's going to influence us as well. Cece sat down with her. Let's find out all about her.
I am Cece Zach, and I am just so excited about today's episode, as I mentioned in the introduction. And I am humbled to be sitting on the couch with Ellen Miller. Thank you so much for joining us today. And the thing that I really would love to spend time on today is that there's so much press out there in media about what you have accomplished. What I would really love our viewers to learn about is who is Ellen and what makes her get up in the morning. So I'm just so grateful that you said yes to this interview. So just to start with the viewers, why Vail? How long have you been here and why do you stay here?
I landed here a little over 30 years ago to manage a tiny little natural food store in what used to be, it's now Solaris, it used to be the Crossroads Shopping Center. It was called Alfalfa's Market. And I moved up from the Front Range from Denver to manage that store. And obviously, after moving to the Vail Valley, I fell in love with it and vowed never to leave because my heart, a big part of my heart, lives in the mountains. So it was a great opportunity for me to, start a life outside of the city and up here in the mountains. So.
But the beauty of that is that you say the heart is in the mountains, but you've given your heart to the Vail Valley. Why is that?
I feel like early on, living here, I received so much support from the community for my projects, for my mountaineering, for events that we would do through Alfalfa's. And now that I've gotten older, I have taken a lot of joy out of simply trying to give back. The places that I would train on, the trails, and the wilderness trails, the mountain trails that I would train on for my big Himalayan climbs, gave me so much, Cece. They gave me so much in the way of joy and beauty and mental health that now that I'm an older athlete, I can certainly make the time to give back to those places. So.
Well, I think you've been giving back to those places in the community since you were born, but that's a whole nother episode. But as it relates to you, what is your passion in life?
I love trying to elevate other people. Elevation is kind of the theme of my life, I feel like. And I've also, I work as a caregiver, and I take a lot of joy in taking care of things. And again, I feel like we are so lucky and so blessed to be surrounded by wilderness, to be surrounded by forest land. But it's a precious asset. It's a precious natural asset that we have here in the Vail Valley, and I just want to make sure that I'm one of the people that contributes to taking care of it.
So what do the mountains give you? What is it that brings out the best of Ellen Miller from the mountains?
I feel like through the challenge of climbing mountains, I've learned more about myself. I've learned who I am. I've learned what I'm made out of. And then obviously the sheer beauty of the places that I get to climb in, it's it's a pure joy. I honestly feel like I'm just connected to a much bigger world when I can see those big views and those big perspectives. I feel quite insignificant oftentimes when I'm in the big mountains. So it's humbling for me to be there. But it's the joy. It's the joy and the beauty.
So back to your accomplishments, what are just overwhelming and humbling, and they're all in the beauty of the mountains. What have you learned about yourself through all of these unbelievable accomplishments, which if you haven't seen the introduction, you need to go back. But Ellen is first American woman that has climbed both sides of Mount Everest. She's a multiple 8,000 meter summit, mountain summit individual. She started so many nonprofits and very focused on trail running. But what are the epiphanies that the mountains have really taught you through all of the work that you've done with them thus far?
I think that I'm stronger than I think I am. My endurance is deeper than I think it is. It's resilience that we learn in the mountains. I also think that I've traveled to places that are surrounded by these beautiful cultures. In Nepal, the Nepalese people are just so genuine and gentle and kind. The Buddhists in Tibet, have been so welcoming and kind and warm to me. And I've learned a lot from the cultures that live around the high mountains and surround those high mountains. And the internal aspect of just being able to do more than I thought I could do. So.
And how have you taken those epiphanies and brought them to others thus far?
I feel like I can encourage others through my storytelling of my own experiences in the mountains. So, for example, back when I used to be an endurance coach, I could bring those experiences and tell the people that I was coaching about those. And then also now, I draw on those former experiences of resilience, of toughness, of patience.
Patience,
key
virtue.
Those kinds of profound lessons that I've learned in the mountains have come in handy as simply an aging athlete. Honestly, I've been through a number of hip surgeries, and I'm really glad I had that experience of being a climber to draw on when I had to be so patient, and methodical and focused on my healing process. So.
Well, do you mind sharing with the viewers, what you did post 2 hip surgeries? You're an extraordinary mountain endurance athlete, but I think people need to recognize that, when you are challenged with physical things that kind of take us backwards from what we love to do, please share with the viewers, what you were able to endure post 2 hip surgeries.
Well, I think learning how to refocus, maybe not focus so much solely on my athletic interests, but learning about different facets of myself. I think that's when I started thinking more about the Climb for Literacy or getting involved more in my community. But yeah, I think going through several surgeries and the recovery process has been it's been a learning experience for me, and it's been very positive. In the end of the day, those recoveries were just as positive as any mountain I climbed, honestly.
It's an extraordinary accomplishment, and it really is mind over matter, which leads me to a next question. After preparing for speaking with you, you have had multiple dreams in your life. And the process in which you develop your dream in itself is just an extraordinary life lesson for myself and others. Will you tell our viewers a little bit about one of your biggest dreams and how what that process was to get to the dream and how you accomplished it?
I think one of the biggest dream, obviously, was climbing Mount Everest. So it was 20 years, Cece, of baby steps and climbing smaller mountains and learning climbing skills and meeting different people. I think these days a lot of people want instant gratification. And for me, it's been a long, slow, methodical process. And I also want to let people know that I have failed so much more than I have succeeded. I've learned so much more from the mountains that I didn't reach the summit of than the ones I did. And I needed to have those failures in order to learn the skills that helped me to succeed on other higher mountains. So, I know a lot of younger people get discouraged, when they don't get to the summit or something goes wrong on an expedition. But I'm kind of like, you know what? Great learning opportunity there. Think about everything you can learn from that experience, and next time use those lessons on the next attempt of a mountain. So, I think people tend to focus a lot just on what I've succeeded on, but I just want to let everybody know I have failed. There have been a lot of mountains I didn't get to the top of.
I love that. And it begs another question too, is that you've just been so vulnerable to us about this. And how can we help viewers recognize that they should be comfortable with that vulnerability of failure? I know you coach a lot of endurance athletes here in the Valley, and you've been wildly successful in teaching U.S. trail running teams to national championships and world championships. But there's a lot of failure that they have too. So what do you tell them, those young people that get frustrated?
I think I try to to have a lot of empathy initially when someone has, when someone has failed. But after a little bit of time, I'm the one that's going to say, get back up. Get back
on
up.
the horse.
Stand up. Take one step forward.
Yeah.
Take another step forward. It's just baby steps. It's one step at a time. And I still have to remind myself of that lesson often. Ellen, get back up. Just stand up, focus forward, and learn the lessons where you can, but keep focusing forward. So life is so short.
Yes, it is.
Life is so short, and I just kind of feel like it's fleeting, and so we don't have a lot of time to waste and to just let time slip away, because especially I feel like as an aging athlete, you realize time is limited. So,
and we all have so much to give, and it's not just about giving for ourselves, but it's about giving to the greater good of humanitarianism or humanity. So with that, I am going to ask our viewers to stay tuned to Good Day Vail with Ellen Miller. Please do not miss the second half of this episode, where we really focus on how you can make a difference here in the Vail Valley by listening to how Ellen has just had an extraordinary impact in this valley.
Good morning, Vail.
Hola, ¿qué tal, familia de TVA? Les saluda Julio García y les doy la bienvenida a una edición más de Lo Mejor de la Semana, donde, como ya saben, les estaré compartiendo los mejores eventos y actividades para disfrutar aquí en nuestro Valle de Vail y nuestros alrededores. Comenzamos este lunes 14 de agosto con el Breckenridge International Festival of Arts, que se estará llevando a cabo de 8 de la mañana a 6 de la tarde del 11 al 20 de agosto, con muchísimas actividades desde yoga, caminatas, exposiciones de arte, presentaciones de baile y música. Algunos eventos son gratuitos y otros requieren de boletos, así que consulta la página web para ver la lista completa de los eventos. Y este martes 15 de agosto, la Biblioteca Pública de Gypsum está ofreciendo un torneo de Super Smash Bros. A partir de las 4:15 de la tarde, un evento completamente gratis para mayores de 11 años. El ganador se llevará una tarjeta de regalo. Y este miércoles 16, nuestros amigos de BOM nos enseñan a hacer figuras de animales con globos, un evento gratuito en el centro de Walking Mountains en Avon de 5:30 a 7 de la tarde. Para registrarse, visiten la página web en pantalla. Y este jueves 17 les comparto un concierto en Denver, ya que llega Karim León al Ball Arena, lo que antes era conocido como el Pepsi Center. Las puertas abren a las 7 de la tarde y los boletos comienzan desde los $55 más cargos. Aún quedan boletos, así que visita la página web para adquirir los tuyos. Y este viernes 18 se presentan en el Ice Arena de Vail Grupo Laberinto, Atrevidos de Chihuahua y Escolta de Rancho. Las puertas abren a las 9 de la noche. Los boletos de preventa los puedes conseguir en los lugares de costumbre o en la página web que aparece en pantalla a partir de los $60. Recuerda que usualmente los boletos suben de precio el día del evento, así que consigue los tuyos con anticipación. Y este sábado 19 se estará llevando a cabo el Vail Valley Brew Out de 4 a 8 de la tarde, un festival de cerveza donde podrás disfrutar de música en vivo, comida, actividades para niños y muestras ilimitadas de cerveza, seltzers y sidras. Los boletos comienzan desde los $20 para aquellas personas que no estarán tomando y desde los $49 para aquellas personas que desean participar en las muestras de alcohol. Los boletos suben de precio el día del evento, así que consigue los tuyos con anticipación en la página web. Y este domingo 20 de agosto podrá disfrutar de una experiencia educativa sobre el mundo prehistórico en Beaver Creek de 4 a 5:30 de la tarde. Es un evento en inglés, pero sé que muchos tienen hijos bilingües y podrán aprender muchísimas cosas de los dinosaurios, fósiles y nuestro mundo prehistórico aquí en Colorado. Y bueno, familia, con eso concluimos una edición más de Lo Mejor de la Semana. Aún nos quedan algunas semanas de verano, así que hay que aprovechar y disfrutar de todas las actividades que tenemos aquí en nuestro valle. Yo soy Julio García y los veré aquí en la próxima. Familia, estamos muy emocionados de por fin presentarles nuestro nuevo programa completamente en español, Conexión Latina, que se estrena este lunes 21 de agosto a partir de las 7 de la tarde. Por el momento, el programa se transmitirá los lunes, miércoles y viernes de 7 a 7 y media de la tarde, con una repetición de 7 y media a 8, así que no hay excusas para perdértelo. Te recuerdo que puedes sintonizar nuestra programación a través del canal 92 de Comcast, nuestra página web tva.com y nuestra página de Facebook TVA Conexión Latina. Acompáñanos en esta nueva aventura llena de información y entretenimiento local. No te lo pierdas.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy Monday. I'm your host, Liz, for Good Morning Vail. We are in the meat of that interview with Ellen Miller. It's super exciting. Let's get back to it right now.
This is a special interview with Ellen Miller, who to me is just a rock star inside and out and outside and upside down. I just am thrilled to have you here. And as we were just discussing during the break, Ellen, you know, one of the things that you had mentioned that you achieved when you climbed Everest was that you got closer to God. So I know our viewers can really relate to that because they live here in the mountains, and there's a reason why they're in the mountains versus someplace else. So just tell us a little bit about that soulfulness that you experience by living in the mountains and climbing these mountains.
I feel throughout history, you know, mountains have been associated with reverence and with being closer to the heavens, being closer to God. And when I would travel, especially in Tibet and Nepal, there is a deep spirituality that surrounds Mount Everest, Tibetan Buddhism. And some of my favorite times in my life are the memories. You know, I cherish the memories that I spent in monasteries there and with my Sherpa friends there and seeing their ritual and seeing their devotion. And learning from them that these high places are a place of reverence, not of ego. You know, we go to the mountains to touch a higher part of ourselves, to touch a higher part of the earth, but you know, they're not necessarily a place where we want to, you know, be boastful about our climbing achievements or our ego. And that was a profound lesson for me. And, you know, even here when I go up into the Gore Range, CC, and climb up there, it's peaceful, it's quiet, your perspective is higher. You kind of rise up out of all of the activity that's going on in the valley. And it gives you a higher view, and you do feel connected to something higher. At the same time, you're feeding your soul. So for me, mountain climbing has definitely been very soulful, and not so much about achievement and not so much about proving anything, but the beautiful moments, you know, that I've experienced in nature, in that rarefied environment. I feel incredibly blessed.
So with that as a backdrop and knowing how involved you are with the community, what are your dreams for the Vail Valley? You know, you've climbed Everest and now you're here and you have been giving back and giving back and giving back, but what are your dreams for the Vail Valley?
I think unity. I think that cohesiveness of people we have a lot of different people here from a lot of different backgrounds.
And it's gotten much more intense, that diversity, in the last 2 to 5 years, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And hopefully people can step back and take the time to see what it's like to be in someone else's shoes and to have more patience and understanding and learning. I feel like many of us are in such a great situation here where we can give back. There's a lot of resources here in the Vail Valley, and I like to encourage people to, you know, take their passion, whether it's music or art or horseback riding or gardening, whatever. There's an organization for everything here. Mine just happens to be trails. You know, I feel like most people here do spend time on trails. So I you know, researched the Vail Valley Mountain Trails Alliance, which I have just had a blast volunteering for them and for the town of Vail with the Trail Host program. Eagle Summit Wilderness Alliance has all kinds of opportunities for volunteering. But certainly if your passion is something completely different, there are many opportunities.
So speaking of the trails and knowing that we have the viewers, you know, what few words do you have about protecting our trails that you'd like our viewers to respect?
I would like for our viewers here, since most are residents or part-time residents, to take the responsibility to help be an educator for these precious places, because we have a lot of visitors that just pop in on vacation or pop up from Denver for the day. And to, if you see the opportunity, help to educate those people that, you know, the trails are fragile, wilderness is fragile, wildlife needs a lot of room and a lot of space. Oftentimes we are in their habitat and we need to back off a little bit rather than trying to approach wildlife for photographs and things like that. Taking care of the rivers and streams. So, you know, just helping to protect what we have here, the beauty of these natural resources. That's what I would like to encourage people to do.
So you had mentioned trails are a passion of yours, but I know that there's other focus areas in the community that you spend your time, your precious resource of time. Please tell our viewers about those.
For many years, I created an event called the Climb for Literacy. And the Literacy Project here in the Vail Valley is dear to my heart.
Which quite frankly should be dear to every single one of us, because literacy is the key to just humanitarian success in general and happiness.
Yes.
Right? We can all communicate together. So, sorry, I didn't mean to interject, but I'm very passionate about literacy as well.
No, but you're right. You know, the ability to read can lift people up out of a lot of, you know, challenging situations. But I took my love for climbing and my love for reading and combined them. And we had kids on the climbing wall, and they would climb vertical feet, and they would get sponsorship for, you know, the different laps or vertical feet that they would climb. And so we would raise money for the Magic Bus, which is still here in town. It's part of the Vail Valley Foundation. It's an educational bus that goes into the neighborhoods with all kinds of really interesting learning tools. And then the Literacy Project. So that was a fun project, I think, for me. And then, you know, just I feel like it's easy to find opportunities that other people have made, like, you know, like the VVMTA or other organizations. Walking Mountains has numerous volunteer opportunities, you know, so whatever people are interested in, you know, you can, it's very gratifying. It gives me a lot of joy to give back. You know, I get... Yeah, you get high off of it. Well, you do. You know, you feel like you're being helpful and you're being of service. And especially as I've gotten older, I feel like that's something that enriches my life a lot.
So I'm going to twist this a little bit more to the science side of things, because as I was watching some previous interviews that you've had, you do a lot of coaching, and we had talked about failure before. And if we just look at helping our viewers really recognize the value they can bring, you've helped me understand that we can retrain our neural pathways to whether we're trail running or whether we want to contribute and donate our precious time and resources to something in the valley. Help us understand a little bit about the neural pathways and how people can think a little bit differently than what they believe.
Well, I think it's important that we're always exposing ourselves to new things and different things.
Love that.
It's uncomfortable.
It is.
Especially in the brain, but it's really good for us.
Especially if our viewers came from someplace else.
Yeah.
You know, and the valley is much different than where they came from. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but...
No, but I think always learning, always growing. It's always getting out of that comfort zone. I have had a lot of times in my life where I wanted to hunker down into my own comfort zone. And I think that there are certainly times in people's lives when that is appropriate. But I think when we're healthy and we're feeling well and things are going, that's when we need to get outside of our comfort zones. And it's so good for our brains. And I think that, you know, you can do little simple things like brushing your teeth with the opposite hand or little tiny things, shopping the grocery store in the opposite way that you usually go. I mean, you don't have to, you know, go out and do anything dramatic, but just mixing up the way that your brain is working.
And one of the things that you had mentioned to me too is that you had a wish for Americans, if they were to really get out of their comfort zone and understand those different cultures that you were talking about and learn about kindness and empathy in a different way. What is that suggestion? Do you remember when we were talking about?
Well, I think that a lot of us are so quick to react these days with our judgments. And as Viktor Frankl said, in between the stimulus and the response, there is a space. And within that space really lies our power. And I just like to encourage people that before we react so quickly, if we can just step back and take a breath and take a moment to think and to calm down. And to try to be kind and thoughtful and patient. It just seems like things might go a little smoother than a lot of the aggressive, angrier reactions. And I know this isn't easy. I'm a very passionate person myself, and I'm very opinionated. So I know exactly what it's like to be a bulldozer with my own opinions. But, I think things have been ramped up, a lot these days. So maybe softening it. Spend more time in the wilderness.
Spend more time in the wilderness and
and calming your nervous system.
And having greater respect for anyone we meet, whether on the trailhead or in the grocery store. So, with that, Ellen, I am just thrilled that you spent this time with Good Day Vail. We are just so honored to have you, and
thank you.
You are just an inspiration to everyone that meets you in so many different ways. And I really hope our viewers take her words to heart. And as Viktor Frankl said, there's that space between knowing what just happened and what your reaction is. And so take that space. And again, thank you for joining us with Good Day Vail. We look forward to having you with us next time. And I know that we are ending with a beautiful photo of Ellen living life to her fullest. So may us all do that as well.
Good morning, Vail.
Nap Harvest, your local marketplace for fresh, locally produced products. Our indoor farmers market is open 7 days a week, featuring locally grown organic produce, prepared meals, honey from our Nap Nectar hive, furniture, cutting boards, and much more. We source and sell locally grown and produced products from the Vail and Roaring Fork Valleys. Visit us at our new location in Eagle Ranch, 717 Sylvan Lake Road, next door to Color Coffee Roasters.
Do you have an interesting hobby or skill you'd like to share for Vail Valley? We want to hear from you. We're looking for people to share their musical, artistic, culinary, woodworking, athletic, or technical talents on Good Morning Vail. If you'd like to share your talents with the community, email Danielle at tvavail.com. Join the community conversation. There's more for you on 92.
Pascal. And I'm Andrea Jackson. Welcome to Life, Love, Shopping. Have any personal stories you can share?
Do I? Yes, I do.
So even though you work with some good deals, too good to miss on flash deals. Now check this out.
Studies show spending time outdoors can help with depression, lowering blood pressure, and overall health and happiness.
We are back in the kitchen where President of Deerfield Media, Steve Mumbo, is teaching intern Steve how to make spaghetti for a crowd on a budget.
Yeah.
And through the magic or miracle of a commercial break, we have cooked ground beef and much more. What's next?
Well, we made our spaghetti sauce, and we put in a store-bought spaghetti sauce, Prego in this instance. You can use whatever you like. Then you put in a can of puree and a can of paste, which is what we've done. You add a little chopped onions and some mushrooms to give it a good hearty flavor. Why do you start with the store-bought spaghetti sauce? It has all the spices in it. You don't have to buy spices. It's got the oregano, the basil, and everything else. And that is your most expensive items to buy, is spices.
Yeah.
Although we do have a little Italian spice, which Steve will use at the end and flavor to his liking. All right. So we've made our base spaghetti sauce. And as you see, it takes 10 minutes. Now we've browned our ground beef using the same pan that we cooked our onions and mushrooms in. So we're cutting down on what we have to wash. And so Steve, dump it in there now. All right.
And what we have in our kitchen. Do you have any of these pots, pans in your kitchen right now, Steve, here in Park City?
I do.
You do?
Well,
Okay, good.
whether I will use them is a whole nother question.
Well, you will now. Now that you know how to make spaghetti, especially Steve's version, I think you'll be inspired, right?
Of course. It smells real good.
Yeah.
It does smell good.
So our spaghetti sauce is done. And a good thing with the sauce, you can make this in the morning. And you can go out skiing. And when you come back skiing, in addition to having your friends drop by, but if you're just here on vacation, after skiing, you go to the hot tub and you enjoy the down day. Who wants to cook?
No one.
It's already done.
It's done.
All you really have to cook is your pasta. And have al dente pasta. It takes 7 minutes. And so our water's beginning to boil here. And I'm going to throw in some of our pasta. We're just going to crack it in half here so that it all fits. And your meal is done in 7 minutes.
Done and done.
And you can feed people. Now, if some people say, well, we need a salad for this, especially the younger folks may not want the salad. But there's always leftover mushrooms.
There you go.
And we always save a pepper for them. So
they can have a pepper mushroom salad.
That's right.
And throw in an onion.
The leftover. And we got a leftover onion. So it's completely done, the meal, and it's a great and easy way. Now, when we traditionally make this, we also make meatballs, but we're not doing that today.
We're going to start simple.
That's a whole nother segment.
But meatballs are very easy. The secret is using a rye bread with caraway seeds in it. Okay. Just take it, cut the crust off, mix the ground beef with some of your onions and mushrooms and 1 or 2 eggs, and just make the meatballs, put them in the oven for 45 minutes, and they're done. But you really don't need that because there's so much meat product in the spaghetti sauce already. So now, 10 minutes, add another 10, 20 minutes, it's done.
Done.
Ready to go to the table.
And we're excited to try it.
We are. And this guy likes it.
Well, good.
Big
You like
fan.
spaghetti. All right, are we going to try it now? What do you think? What's the next step?
The next step is we've got to wait for our pasta to cook.
Okay, so while that cooks, we'll go to a quick break.
Okay.
And you'll want to come back to see the finished product and maybe enjoy some bread as well. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Spaghetti Show. We are here making spaghetti with Steve. And Steve, it's done.
It's done.
It looks beautiful and delicious.
Yeah. So this is what the master chef here has concocted in 20 minutes of time.
We just need to add one more P, the final P, Parmesan. And throw a little on top for the flavor.
Looks good.
Awesome.
And that's just for you, right? No
Okay.
one else. Now, if you want to add a little extra to your spaghetti meal, another inexpensive way of doing it is just go to the baker and get yourself a loaf of bread. And I'm going to move this pot out of the way here.
Any kind of bread, or do you recommend
Well,
a
you want
certain kind?
Italian bread.
Italian bread.
It's not so easy to find Italian bread in Park City. Most of it is sourdough bread or baguettes. This is a baguette. I'd rather have an Italian bread.
Okay.
But you take it and you just slice it diagonally without going through the bottom of the crust. And just slice it through this as such. Now, what you've done is just take a stick of butter, a quarter pound of butter, and then you take some blue cheese.
Ooh, blue cheese.
Just a container of blue cheese, and real easy chopped garlic. It's already chopped. You take it out of the tube, and you just squeeze it in. You could do this in the morning. It takes 3 minutes to do it. And what you're going to end up with is a little bit of batter. It's nothing more than butter, garlic, and blue cheese.
I wouldn't have thought to add blue cheese. I really like that.
Oh, the blue cheese is wonderful on it.
Yeah.
And now that you've cut your bread, as a way of an example here, you've got all these spaces in it. You fan it out. You just take your spoon and fill each of the sections with a little bit of the butter cheese. And you go all the way through.
My mouth is
And when
watering.
it's done,
It looks delicious.
you throw it into a toaster oven or an oven that you have at 275 degrees, and you have a wonderful piece of blue cheese garlic bread to go with your spaghetti. Now, after eating that meal, you want to go back to the slopes and do a couple of night runs.
Or just chill in the hot tub. And
It
just,
is.
You know.
But it's a quick, simple, easy meal. Add a salad if you want, and you've taken care of your guests.
Good morning, Vail.
Well, Archer and I are going to get headed on further down the trail, but I hope you'll catch up with us a little bit later. Hi, I'm Ben Roof, and I'm one of the new hosts here at TV8. I'm so excited to share all of my explorations throughout the Vail Valley with my dog Archer, where we'll be taking you to hiking trails, biking trails, maybe we'll go rafting, fishing, or whatever else we can come up with. I'm so excited to share all of that with you in my new segment, Outdoor Adventures. Don't forget to catch up with us every day right here at TV8 Vail or at tv8vail.com, because there's always more for you on 92.
This show spotlights the latest innovations to create a greener planet. Join us next time as we explore new green ideas and present interesting green stories, and show you how some people are becoming real green.
Here at Sun and Ski Sports, we are all about having the best summer adventures. Our full-service bike shop is here to help you get back on the saddle with services ranging from simple tire changes, full bike overhauls, and rentals. If trail running, hiking, or trips to the lake are your thing, our expert staff will fit you in the best performing footwear or clothing. And don't forget about a relaxing day on the water with our stand-up paddleboard rentals. Call Sun and Ski Sports in Avon or Dillon today, or learn more at sunandski.com/CO.
When you're in Vail, you're in vacation mode, and you need a flexible home tour experience that fits into your schedule. We've transformed how you view and buy homes in the Vail Valley. With immersive, cutting-edge technology, you can explore properties 10 times faster. In our lounge, we guide you through this digital world on a 16-foot screen where you can imagine your next home in comparison to your favorite recreational spots. Say goodbye to multi-day home tours and hello to a quick stop between your other plans. That's the power of the immersion theater.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the segment I've been waiting for. I am fascinated by 3D printing, and we are going to make our way over to the library and find out all the ways you can do it. And I just want to know how it works, so let's go find out right now.
If you're looking to pique your curiosity, well, the Eagle Valley Library District is the way to do that. And if this machine right here does not do so, well, Tegan's going to tell you why it should. And I'm standing here with Tegan Davis. Good morning, Tegan.
Good morning. Thanks for coming over.
Thanks for whatever this cool contraption is, because I am so intrigued right now.
This is our 3D printer that we brought up from Avon. So we're redoing our Spark Studio, and we got a bigger one for Spark Studio, which means we can bring this one up for Avon, and so people can start experimenting with the 3D printer up here without having to go to Eagle.
Which makes it nice and convenient for those who live up valley but are so curious about all of the possibilities that can come out of this incredible machine.
This machine is amazing. So I love 3D printing. It's so much fun. A lot of people are curious, like, why would a library have a 3D printer? Well, in the 21st century, information is not just found in books, it's also through that experiential learning that will help you get that edge and be competitive in the world. So we wanted to make sure that we could provide some experience and some access to some of these cool things, like the 3D printer. So what it does, it takes plastic. This is called filament. It's PLA filament, and it goes all the way down to this nozzle. This is not on, by the way. Otherwise, I wouldn't touch it. And then the nozzle heats up to about 212 degrees, and it melts the plastic. And then whatever you have designed, whether that is an action figure or maybe it is a 3D rendering of a model, or you're working on some schematics, or you're doing some prototypes, some designing, it will print that out on this plate right here. And we have all different type of filaments that you can experiment, and one of them is actually copper. So whatever you would make would be conductive. So there's all sorts of, like, it is for your imagination to take this wherever direction you want to go and experiment, play, but also if you are into design or engineering, you can create all sorts of things, and maybe you have like a really cool prototype that you want to print out, a little mini one or a bigger one, and kind of test it out.
Which this is so cool, and it looks like someone did an octopus right there last, which I really love, because I'm sure that was so cool, and this is such a good color to do.
It's a very bright octopus.
Very bright octopus. I love that, but this is such a great way for kids to maybe explore getting into something like the STEM project that you guys do, which this is such an intriguing way to just get them kind of thinking about the possibilities.
The possibilities, the future, and just kind of exploring that, and it's tactile, and you're on the computer, you're designing, you're printing, and then you have it. You have this 3D object that you created, that you made, and there's a lot of pride that goes into this when the kids walk away with it. And it's not just for kids, so teens, adults can come in here and experiment, and just have access to 3D printing.
Which I'm going to totally nerd out. I took engineering in high school, and we had to make cubes that were solid all the way through, but they were like 6-unit cubes. And so then you had to be able to pull them apart and put them back together, but the putting them back together was so challenging that mine was so difficult, not even our teacher could get it back together, and we had to 3D print it. It was so cool.
Nice. Oh, that's amazing. See, again, exploring science, math, engineering, and creating something that you can physically manipulate and touch. So I think that's a fantastic story. I wish I had that in high school. I did not. And this is kind of what it looks like when it's dried out and it's been heated. So obviously it's not as thick. It's pretty stringy. And we also have a 3D pen available down in gypsum. And so that's where you can just like kind of like write your name, and you'll end up having like this string of plastic that has your name on it, or whatever else you feel like drawing with filament.
Which is so cool, and this is such a great way to just experiment and play around, like you said. And so we're here in Avon with the little guy, but then you've got this big, huge new one.
A new one in Eagle. So Eagle is home to our Spark Studio. So it is a Spark Studio for anyone to create, imagine, experiment, and just kind of play. And again, have access to these machines so that you can build skill sets that will make you competitive in the 21st century. So in this new Spark Studio, we have this ginormous 3D printer, and it actually is dual extraction, which means that it can do 2 different filaments at a time, and it's fully encased, which is good to keep everyone safe. And then we also we got a big Mac computer in there. We got 2 PCs in there. We updated it, so we have electric instruments now. We have a laser cutter in there. We have an embroidery machine, and then we also have like Cricuts. What else do we have in there? We have so much in there. And then on our computers, of course, we got InDesign, Photoshop. We've got some stop motion software, as well as some video software as well.
You guys are just giving kids the possibilities to learn and explore any kind of field of work that they may want to go into, because the stop motion is such a unique kind of film form. And then of course you've got all of these great resources, and we were just exploring the Library of Wonder over there, and you guys have like GoPros and camping stuff, and you guys you do it so that people don't understand the incredible resources that are here at the library, but that you can keep everyone entertained.
Everyone engaged, exploring, lifelong learning is our goal. So we have, access to 3D printers. So if you want to explore that, if that's something that you want to get into in the future, or you have prototypes, you're an adult and you have a prototype, you think you have a new prosthetic that you want to print out, that's a possibility at the library. And then we have our library of things. So we have some, you can't check out the 3D printer, sorry, but we do have some things that are related to that you can check out and you can explore at home. So we're trying to, again, engage our community and hopefully their interests, and provide that access to them.
Now, Tegan, if people want to get a library card, which is the easiest thing in the world, and it just comes with a possibility of wonder and resources, how can they do that?
Just come on into the libraries, Avon, Eagle, or Gypsum with a photo ID. Again, ski pass, rec pass, whatever you got that has your picture on it. Whether you're a visitor, resident, or you're just here working the season, you can come in, get a library card, and hopefully check out whatever you need.
The Library of Wonder here at the Eagle Valley Library District, because you guys just keep the possibilities coming.
Oh, well, thank you. We appreciate that, and we're always open to suggestions, too. So we want to keep our community engaged and learning.
Tegan, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us and show us this really cool 3D printer.
Yeah, next time we'll get it actually functional, so we can see what it does.
I want the octopus.
Great. We'll print you out an octopus.
Perfect. Make sure that you come to the Eagle Valley Library District, whether it's here in Avon, Gypsum, or Eagle. You can come and explore all of the great resources and all of the fun that they have here. When you think library, you need to think the coolest place on earth here in Eagle County. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show.
Good morning, Vail.
Did you know that all Eagle County residents and visitors can get a free Eagle Valley Library District card? All you need is a photo ID. You get our online databases and resources, free music, free streaming, all from wherever you have internet access. Free audiobooks and e-audiobooks straight to your phone. Go into your Eagle Valley Library District branch today and get your library card.
For TV8 in Vail, I'm Avisha Scarborough at the Gerald R. Ford Amphitheater. We'll see you next time. Hi friends, welcome to a little behind the scenes. I'm Avisha Scarborough, and I'm so excited to be part of the team at TV8 in Vail. I love the outdoor lifestyle here, I love the arts and culture, and I love being part of this community. My show is called Vail Vibes with Avisha, where I tell you about all the amazing activities going on here in Vail and surrounding areas all year round.
America was built on a love for the outdoors. We are a nation of sportsmen, blessed with magnificent natural resources. With broad interests across water and field, we are united in our devotion to nature and conservation. Join us every week for the best shows celebrating the outdoor lifestyle. Outdoor America. Live free.
today. Great show on the way.
Absolutely. Welcome to our show. I'm Suki.
I'm Scott.
And we are feeling good today. You know why? Because we had a great show.
Good morning, Vail.
This weather report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to your Monday edition of Good Morning Vail on TV8. I'm your host, Liz. We have a full week ahead of us, so get ready for a really fun week with all of your great hosts here at TV8. Thanks to everybody who works behind the scenes and in front of the camera. We are here for you. There's more for you on 92. Stick around, everybody. We have a great week ahead of us. It's Good Morning Vail on TV8.
Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see.